and welcome to Weekly Imogen. Today I wanted to speak to you about some tips for the perfect composition in portrait photography. The first one is one that doesn't always happen in our photography, but it is a really good way to compose a portrait, and this is making sure the eyes are in the top third of the picture. So if you imagine that this here is a picture of me, my eyes are probably in the right place, in the top little section up here. This is kind of the most natural way to compose the photo. It feels very natural, it draws you into the eyes but allows the rest of the picture to shine through. There are exceptions to this, and obviously a portrait can work without having your eyes in the top third. It's also a good way of creating tension if they are in a different space in the picture. It doesn't feel quite so natural, might feel a bit more confrontational. So there are ways to break the rule, but on the whole, for the perfect composition, keep the eyes in the top third. Tip number 2 is to use frames to concentrate all the attention onto your subject. You'll see in some of the examples we're putting here how we've often used natural things we've found around us, either nature itself, doors, windows, arches. These are all good ways to really draw attention in on the subject, and this focus creates a really good composition within your portrait photography. If you'd like to get some more ideas on how to do this, we did do a video a while ago about using frames in your portrait photography, so be sure to check that out if you are interested. But on the whole, just using these natural arches and frames really draws in the interest to the subject of the portrait. Tip number 3 is filling the whole frame with your subject. This is a nice idea which I don't think everyone always thinks about for portrait photography. You'll see some strong examples here where what we've done is we've literally filled the entire picture with me. It seems quite scary to zoom in that close. It's kind of sometimes feels like a bit of a risk, but I think it can create a really arresting image. It's very interesting to be kind of that close up to someone, and it really does feel like an intimate portrait where you're really within the model's personal space. Tip number 4 is about distracting backgrounds. Often when you're shooting outside and not in a studio, there's the unavoidable situation where you'll have bright colours or lots of clashing things or just lots of visual noise in the background of the image. This, however, doesn't have to be a bad thing. You can use these different textures to great effect. By using a low depth of field, as Mark often does, it really allows the model to pop out of this background. It blurs the background so you get a wonderful wash of the different colours and effects, and really means that the model seems to be kind of popping straight out of it and really draws your attention into the main focal point. Tip number 5 is about using lines. Often when you are shooting outside, you'll come across lots of different vertical, horizontal, or maybe diagonal lines. You can really use this to help frame the model or to draw attention in. If you have lines kind of coming into a focal point, place the model in front of that focal point, and as you can see, it helps to really draw the eyes in and helps the subject to pop out of your portrait. Equally, if you have things like brickwork or horizontal vertical lines, window frames and things, it can really help to draw the attention in to the middle point, and so this helps to create a really compelling portrait. Tip number 6 is to change your angles. This may seem a slightly obvious point, but isn't one that you always think about in the midst of a shoot. Sometimes when you're taking a portrait, you don't always have to be directly onto the subject. You can be shooting from above, from below, from different sides, and this can all help to create that really compelling photo. You'll see in these 2 examples that I'm crouching down in both of them, but we have changed the angle to find out what works best on the picture. In the first one, Mark is standing above me and changed the angle to be pointing down towards me. I think this is a really good way to draw the attention into the model. You're following the camera down into where they are. In the second one, Mark is slightly lower down and is more on my level. I think both of these pictures work really effectively, and as you can see, they do have a slightly different feel. Make sure, therefore, that you are playing around with your angles. It's worth trying to take a few photos from different angles to see what works best when you're going back and looking at them afterwards. I hope you've enjoyed these videos and found these tips useful for your own portrait photography. Please do leave me a comment below letting me know what you like to do with portraits, what you think the top tips are. I would love to read them. Please do like my video and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week. Thanks for watching. Bye!